Hi, this is David Lyons. I'm here from Sonic Circus. We are at Utopia Studios Bearsville today. We're standing in the awesome tracking room that used to be Todd Rundgren's video studio. It's been converted to a state-of-the-art control room, recording studio facility with an API AXS recording console that we have supplied. And we're going to catch up with Pete and talk about business and talk about the console today. In addition to recording, you've worked out quite a range here. Bearsville Theater, tie lines, podcasting, video production, tour rehearsals. How's that diversification helped your business?
I've been running recording studios for 25 years, and having the other services really helps a lot. And this was built as a black box video studio, so we rent it out to film companies. They come in, bring their full crew, and shoot. We've had a couple movies done here, a lot of music videos, a lot of live performance videos. The tie lines to Bearsville Theater are interesting. There's a tunnel. We're right next door to a 500 cap theater called Bearsville Theater. And there's a tunnel that was put in by Albert Grossman, who built this place. So we ran tie lines across. We have a 56 channel analog split and 3 Ethernet runs. And that's been very cool. We've done about 5 live records in the past year. Medeski, Russo, Klein did a record. Godstream Line did their new record. We recorded 3 nights of Jeff Tweedy. So that's cool. It's just another service we provide. The podcast thing is great. We just had Steve Swallow, the legendary bass player, interviewed by Joe Harrison. That was very cool. And then tour rehearsals is a great thing. It's been good. Yeah, the Lumineers did tour rehearsal here. Todd Rundgren did tour rehearsals here. God's Rewind did their tour rehearsal here. And the bigger bands bring in the full production. Like there was an LED wall up. They bring in all their sound, everything. It's not just about the band playing together. It's about the production getting off.
Amazing. And so that sounds like a very smart business model because you're not fully dependent on selling studio time hourly. And you also do have accommodations for bands.
We have 2 rooms upstairs. They're really nice. And we also have a cottage in town.
So when the theater has a show, how do we patch the tie lines to that API AXS?
The main patch of the theater is a box, 56 inputs, transformer isolated send to us over a 250-foot snake. It comes up on the patch bay here. I patch it out of the line into the mic pre-in, and I have a video feed. I can see what's going on. I'll do direct small. The preamp then goes right, to the small fader, and you can engage the EQ filter, and then we're monitoring on the large fader.
This is API's new console. It's 500 series format version of the API legacy, which is awesome. How quickly can a freelancer be up and running and understand the automation from your experience?
Literally anybody with any experience within 10 minutes, we get them off the ground. So the mic lines in the live room, literally you patch into channel 1 there. It's on preamp 1. It's going to Pro Tools input 1.
It's simple. Yeah, it's like an inline SSL 4000 in architecture.
Classic inline console structure. And so people do get off the ground quickly. There's nuances that need time to train, but to get someone to do a recording session, it's very quick. One of the great things for me with API, and I've been using API equipment for a long time, my whole career really, that you can hit the preamps gently and it's clean and beautiful. Or, as most people have used them know, or you can drive them hard and turn down the output and you get this like really musical overtones that we're very familiar with, whether we know it or not, as like the history of rock and roll. They're so clean if you just keep them at moderate levels. Like we've recorded beautiful acoustic music. Brandy Younger came in and played Alice Coltrane's harp for a museum piece. That's like very sensitive music. And it was like pure. It was so clean. The noise floor was like so low. I mean, it was inaudible. We've done a lot of classical and jazz piano records. It's gorgeous.
With the AXS, do you find that bands are more likely to stay for the entire project, from tracking to mixing their record here?
Yes, definitely. We had the Lumineers here last year. The new record, it went to #1 on the All Rock chart, fully recorded and mixed here. In the questions people ask when they book the studio, number in the top 3 is going to be, what's the console? And to have such a beautiful historic room, you need a really nice console. And it definitely helps to keep people here for the whole project. Yeah.
API makes a range of all consoles for everyone, and electronically and sonically they're all very similar because they're made with the same op amps, same switches, same pods, same transformers. So people can get in the door with outboard gear and smaller format consoles like the box and the 1608 and 2448. The one thing I noticed about the mix bus is there's different stages of the gain stage that do incredibly different things. Like 0 dB is much different than -5. On mine, I can bury the meters, I can peg the meters, and the console won't quit.
And then there's a real sweet spot on the console, and all of a sudden everything glues together, and you're in that zone. And you could push it harder, you start to get a little something else. But there's a very
you learn it,
sweet
what it can do, and for what genres of production you're doing. I noticed that too. Yeah. Do you use the bus compressor a lot?
I use bus compressor on almost. We've been mixing. I've done all different variations of mixing, from hybrid to in the box. I can mix in the box great. I love doing it sometimes, but lately I've been really working on the console with no plugins, with all the faders flat. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So the console's got a lot of cool things. It's got a pad, so you can line pad -6. So, Pro Tools comes out hot. So, sometimes you could take all the Pro Tools faders down 6 dB and pad it, or depending how hot everything was tracked. But having that feature is incredible.
And then you could push the console harder.
Yeah, you can drop all your faders as a group, leave them all at Unity, come out of the console, decide whether you want to put the 6 dB pad on. It's got a lot of cool features. It's got the filter on the large faders, so it's a sweepable filter.
What about time-based effects?
We have a plate. Well, we have one of the plates from Bearsville Studios.
So I?
Yeah, right.
Yep.
It's got some history in there. We fixed up all the electronics, restored it, so that's normal to send one on the console. And then, we'll use all kinds of tape delays. And
so you utilize the cues too?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, that's going to effects. And then we're printing that back to Pro Tools.
I want to get to your experience of dealing with Sonic Circus as a company. How did that go for you?
Smooth. I've dealt with a lot of large gear dealers. You were the most honest, forthright, and helpful in making it happen. And you were also great about really, I felt like looking out for my project. That you actually cared about whether I'd be successful at this. And
here we are.
Yeah, and you gave me great advice. I think you genuinely felt like this was the best thing for here.
It is sincere because we're doing this to help studios stay in business. I'd like to think that we have your back just like you have our stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what you're talking about is important in terms of integrity. And studio is a part of a community. It's a reflection of the community. It's a place for the artists to make their art. And if you can be good and treat people right, you see a lot of people around you succeed because of the studio. So there's definitely an outpouring of that energy that people feel, and then they want to come here. You're making music. You want to feel comfortable. You want to feel that there's a feeling of gratitude and giving, and that honestly came from you guys too.
Cool.
So I appreciate it.
Well, it's mutual. And the room is, for anyone that wants to book this place, the room is incredible. It's musical. We were out there. I fired up a Fender Deluxe. You can dime it out. It's not loud. Nothing is rattling. It would seem very easy to mic instruments in that room and create space.
He's John Sturrock. I could give him a shout out. He was the studio designer.
How has your experience, dealing with API been up until this point?
API has been incredible. I have the main tech there on speed dial. I can call him anytime when he picks up the phone. Says, "Hi, Pete, what's up?"
They're a U.S. company, and we've been dealing with them consistently for 28 years now. They have a really good warranty program.
Definitely. And the other reality is, it's a new console, and I've worked, a lot of, like I said, a lot of studios with older consoles. It's a pleasure to have a console that sounds incredible and works every day.
Yeah, and so that leads me to the obvious question: is you're happy with the build quality of the DAS?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, everything's safe. Also, like I said, or maybe I didn't, but I worked on a lot of APIs, and I was chief engineer with a Discrete, which was one of the first, I believe, of the inline API. It's a great console. They've done a really good job keeping it up.